Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Daily Thread. Okay, so here we are once again. Abba, I'm pretty impressed with your technological capabilities. This is the second day in a row we're doing this.
Well, I don't see what there's to be impressed about. It's, you have a good app over there, and apparently it's working. And we're living in 2023, so it's not like when my parents used to go to Israel in the 1960s and 1970s. I had to write them a postcard, say, "How are you?" And I would get a letter back 2 weeks later that said, "We're fine." But in those days, if you asked a question in July, you got the answer in August. That wasn't so bad because everybody was
pretty good.
Everybody was
nowadays. If you ask the question at 10:35, you don't get a response by 10:37, you're in trouble.
They want to know, why are they ignoring me? Why aren't they answering me? But
well, so I saw some clips from the coastal tonight that it is pouring rain.
Yes, it just started to rain. About
is it rainy season right now? It is rainy season. Yeah.
Listen, it's the rainy season. Like I told the guy who was driving us today, sometimes when you say Mashiach Baruch Merit Geshem, Kosher Baruch Hu takes you a little too seriously. Nobody wants. Everyone wants rain because the country needs rain, obviously. They
need rain. Yeah.
Everybody in America,
they need rain for the crops.
Everybody in America that says Mashiach Baruch really means for Israel. They want it to rain. They really don't want it to rain or snow in New York or Kosher Shalom in Miami during holiday week or during intercession. But it was a beautiful day. We spent most of the day at the Dead Sea.
Oh, nice!
And it was 73 degrees. And it was sunny. We were sitting outside without any jackets. It was very beautiful, but. Driving back this evening to Yerushalayim, it started to drizzle, and then about 15, 20 minutes ago, half hour ago, it started to marble out there. But
I'll show some videos from our friend Eitan Berlin, our Daily Thread correspondent right now by the coastal. Here's some videos he sent us.
All right, great.
One of those videos is Chief Rabbi Shlomo Amar walking. You can see people in the video holding chairs over their head. I don't know if Israelis know how to handle rain, but I don't think a plastic chair over your head is exactly a good way to do it.
If you don't have an umbrella, I guess that's the second best thing to hold. You can hold your jacket over your head.
So.
If you're wearing a jacket, you can hold your jacket over your head, or something new called an umbrella, which especially in the rainy season, in a country like this that depends on the rain, you should have a little bit more emunah and betachon and whatever you're diving for coming to fruition, possibly.
I have a statement in front of me that I don't think you're gonna like, and I think it's worth it for us to talk about.
Okay.
This tweet went out 21 hours ago from the Passaic Public Schools. The tweet read, "Please see an important message from our superintendent of schools. Effective tomorrow, December 21st, mask wearing is required across the district."
Really?
And the statement says, "Dear parents, I hope you are well and looking forward to a well-deserved holiday recess. Please be advised that as per our board policy number 5141.10, during periods of high activity level as published as the NGDOH COVID-19 activity level report, mask wearing is required. Therefore, effective Wednesday, December 21st, that is today, all employees, pre-K through grade 12 students and visitors are required to wear face coverings in all district facilities, school grounds, and buses. We will continue to monitor the NJDOH COVID-19 activity level. For the most current information, when Passaic County is in the moderate or below range, the mask mandate will be lifted. Thank you for your cooperation."
Okay, what is it?
Signed by Sandra M. Diodone.
What does that have to do with me? Why am I not going to be happy about it? I mean, you want me to explain? Want me to explain to you what's going on? I'll explain to you exactly what's going on.
I just thought, no, you're a big news guy. I just thought that, I think after, all the COVID stuff, it was kind of proven that masks don't make a difference.
No, so I think the medical experts, the doctors that I've heard, that I've read about, people like Dr. Marty McCary from Johns Hopkins, other experts in infectious diseases, the medical experts that have any credibility, almost everybody Dr. Mark Siegel from Fox News, everybody that has some medical credibility doesn't have a horse in the race. In other words, is not making hundreds of millions of dollars from paralyzing the public. People like Anthony Fauci. Anybody who doesn't have that kind of an agenda item knows not that this, let's say if there's an uptick in COVID, let's say masks do reduce the possibility of catching it. I don't know, 5%, let's say 10%, okay? But the medical experts like Dr. McCary and Dr. Siegel and others whose names I can't think of right now, but many others, will tell you that the damage that has done to the children over the last few years is nothing compared to the extent of which it brought down the numbers in terms of spreading the virus.
Is it a pre-K? You're a first grader, like
all right, so
wearing a mask all day now?
Let me touch it up for you a little bit more. It's December. You're coming up to a week off from school. There's nothing the teachers union wants more than the next step after mask wearing is a remote distance learning. It's remote classes. So guess what? The teachers get to stay home and get paid by being home and hopefully maybe teaching for an hour or two online. So this
are you calling out teachers now?
Of course, this is of course calling out teachers unions.
Of course not. Oh, teacher union. Okay.
This is the direction they're moving in now. If they could get schools to close and only be limited to remote classes for a month or two, you got a maid in the shade. That's a good year if you're a union employee. So that's the public should be smart enough to understand what direction this is going in and what it's all about by now.
Good. I just don't know. It's just strange because I think after all the dust settled from COVID a little bit, we all kind of heard that the masks don't really make all that much of a difference. So the fact that this statement was put out, I don't know. I'm sure we're not going to see. I'm sure there's not going to be blind compliance by the residents of these areas.
But what are the kids? What are the kids supposed to be doing in the schools? You have 5-year-old kids that are forced to go into class every day with a knapsack on their back and a mask on their face. You know what it's done over 3 years. You know what it's done to kids in terms of their ability to effectively be able to communicate with one another and with adults, because they can't see facial expressions, they can't see smiles anymore.
What kid? I mean, are we worried about the teachers or are we worried about the kids? Because the kids really are not getting COVID.
There's no kids union. There's only a teachers union. Okay.
Maybe there should be a kids union.
All right. Why don't you want your kid? Why don't you start a kids union?
Oh, very good. Very good. I want to,
you have to have very, very low dues for the union because kids get very small allowances. So you'll have to have maybe $1 a week union fee.
Maybe 50 cents. $1 I could do a lot with.
Could be.
I want to say that, Baruch Hashem, the Meaningful Minute family specifically and the Daily Thread family stepped up big time for the Winiers family. Over $600,000 was raised for them, and I think they're going to stop the campaign there.
Really?
Unfortunately, though, there was another tragedy in Staten Island. Actually, a good friend of Mrs. Winiers, someone who people have been doubting for, Kayla Rusbas Chaya Rachel, a young woman, 57 years old, from Staten Island. Her name was Rachel Eisenberg, Av Shalom.
Yeah, wow.
She passed away. She has kids aged from 16 to 31.
Sorry to hear that.
She leaves behind 6 Yesomim. And to paint a fuller picture for you, her husband, he suffered a stroke not too long ago, and it debilitated him, and it makes it very difficult for him to earn parnasa. So there's a special fund that's been opened up for this Eisenberg family. Once again, we're going to post it here in a link. And they're just trying to hit their goal. They're trying to make sure that this family, has what they need to be taken care of. It was a very brief illness, happened very quickly, and like I said yesterday, the last thing that these kids should be worrying about, as young as a 16-year-old, is how are we having food for Shabbos, or what are we going to do when kids get married in the family? How are we going to pay for this? So really, just implore everybody, if they can't open their hearts, their wallets, and to give to the Eisenberg family.
I hear you. I hear you. We should hear good news in the future, because this is very disheartening, very difficult to hear. We wish them the best.
Yeah. A very interesting story that came to my desk this morning. I was thinking whether I should discuss it or not, but I said, hey, listen, it's a conversation that I think we should have. You're familiar with this new kosher media player called 24/6.
Okay.
I know they've been advertising with you. They've been advertising with me.
Right.
My content, the Daily Thread is uploaded onto that app, and Meaningful People, and all my content's on there. But Tag, right? They came out, and I see this article on a website, Liquid Alerts. Tag comes out against Kosher 24/6 media player. Mm-hmm. Tag, obviously not the school Tag, the technological awareness group, has released a statement calling the new ostensibly Kosher 24/6 Jewish media player a step in the wrong direction. Mm-hmm. 24/6 is a new music streaming platform that allows listeners to hear only pre-approved music from Jewish singers and entertainers. Its website says, have your values and your music too. 24/6 is the only vetted media streaming platform for Jewish families worldwide with features that give you control. The 24/6 platform is available as a media player device similar to an iPod, which is locked to the platform and cannot play any music that isn't vetted beforehand. 24/6 is also available as an app on the Apple Store and Google Play. However, the Technology Awareness Group says that it's not good enough and doesn't have the backing of Rabbanim. Digital technology is a relatively new nisayon, and as such, the parameters for dealing with it are not clearly defined. The Tag statement says, as in many areas, what may be beneficial for one person or community may be disastrous for the next. Needless to say, the people who decide which accommodations or compromises are necessary to help Yidden in overcoming their challenges should be our Gedolim and Manhigim.
Okay, so I'm sure the
not well-meaning from entrepreneurs. The latest breach in our community, courtesy of well-meaning from entrepreneurs, is 24/6 Media Device. I'll finish the statement in a second. I don't like this letter. I don't like it. I really don't.
Doesn't this Tag group have their rabbinical advisors as well? Are they working in a spiritual vacuum? I mean,
I'm sure they have the rabbinic. You're saying doesn't 24? I'm sure 24/6 has rabbinic backing.
That's what I'm talking about. So how can they say they don't? Yeah. Maybe they don't have the same rabbis as this technological awareness group. Let me tell you something. Let me point something else out to you. Yeah, you know what? This is no different than the story a few minutes ago about the masks in Passaic. It's about maintaining your control over large groups of people, large segments of the population. That keeps you in power. It gives you authority, and there's some kind of there could be some kind of a economic motivation for this as well. You could be sure that if the entrepreneurs behind 24/6, what's it called?
Yeah, 24/6.
What's the full name of the thing? 24/6 it's called?
24/6, that's the name.
You can be sure that if they could work out a situation where the Tag group would endorse them, then everything would be fine and good. Now, how could they possibly get the whatchamacallit, the endorsement of Tag, of Technological Awareness Group? How about if they paid them a monthly fee? You know,
but here's my issue with this. Why is this article necessary to go out to the public like that? I just don't think it's necessary. And also, I really don't like the line. I don't like the line over here that says, needless to say, the people who decide which accommodations or compromises are necessary to help Yidden and overcome their challenges should be our Gedolim and Manhigim, not well-meaning from entrepreneurs. Again, I know the people behind 24/6. I'm sure they're great people, and I know they're great people, and I'm sure they're advising with rabbis. So to put out and if there's an issue, do me a favor. Tag, call up 24/6 behind closed doors, sit down, and try to work it out together. A statement like this publicly does not help Klal Yisroel. It doesn't help. It doesn't help.
Well, I can't.
Let me just go ahead. Let me just go ahead and finish reading their statement, so it's not out of context. Of course, for those who have access or would allow their children to access iTunes or Spotify via smartphone, this app may be beneficial. The statement continues, although even for them, proper guidance by Rabbanim and Mechanchem would have allowed much safer options. But for the rest of us, the app, the device, and the message they send are a very dangerous step in the wrong direction. detailing all the issues and potential pitfalls of this service and devices beyond the scope of this letter. Suffice it to say for now that each family should carefully consult with their Das Torah before adopting new digital devices and services. May the Rabbanu Shalom protect every yid from the science of digital technology and give us the wisdom and understanding to make proper decisions in the complex area. Rabbi Nechemia Gottlieb, director of TAG.
I don't know. Who is that? Who is Rabbi Gottlieb from this?
He's the director of TAG.
Who is he? Where's he from? Where is he from?
I don't know.
And we have to look into. We have to speak to him. We have to find out.
I made a phone call to someone who's involved with 24/6.
Yeah.
Before coming on here, I did not get through to him. Would love to hear what he had to say, but like, I don't know, the whole thing just doesn't sit well with me. I don't think we call people out like that publicly. You know the problem here. The problem that I think needs to be articulated is that I don't know what this TAG group knows that we don't know, if they know anything, but they're coming at you from a direction that everybody has potential to be addicted to the internet in an unhealthy way. But you can't address everything from that perspective. There's such a thing as being on Spotify or Apple and listening to, how far are they away from saying you shouldn't listen to meaningful people or the Daily Thread, I'm sure some places, I'm sure, well, after this episode, they're for sure going to say that you can't, but
no, they're not going to listen. They're not going to say that. They're not going to say that.
One second. I just think that, like, first of all, I have the 24/6 app on my phone.
Okay.
I see what you can get on there and what you can't get on there. I can't understand.
How do you know what you can't get if it's not there?
Meaning you can't do, like, if it's not on the app, it's not on the app. You can't access non-Jewish music, non-Jewish podcasts, stuff like that. You can only access the content. Not only that, you can have a parental control on the app that, you can't access videos, you can't access that. So
it just goes back to
why is it a step in a dangerous direction? Why is it a step in the wrong direction? Why can't we empower from entrepreneurs to do things that are amazing for Klal Yisroel and that help us be entertained in a kosher way?
Because when a firm entrepreneur bursts onto the scene and attracts attention and has some success, he might be taking away some power from somebody else, and that's the real danger. That's what you have to be.
But that's a very it's a very harsh claim.
But that's the reality. I mean, again, like I said a moment ago, why do we have to approach everything from that? If you don't do this, you're going to become an addict, and you're going to be on your iPhone or on your Android or on your iPad 24 hours a day and not be able to get off it unless you listen to us. Most people are just relatively calm, normal people. Okay, we don't hear about those people because they don't get a lot of attention. But they're just regular people that when they get into their car and they sit in traffic, they're listening to a program like this one or a share maybe or something along those lines. How many people have you heard from that tell you they listen to your podcasts in the car when they're in traffic? And it's a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah, a lot.
And your Tillim program, which I guess is being launched one of these days, pretty soon. It's a remarkable thing. And what happens if that goes? What happens if that's available on 24/6? Are you going to condemn that too? You can't say Tillim unless we say you could say Tillim. How's that going to work?
I agree with you.
Anyway, let's not.
Which is pretty rare.
Okay.
Which is pretty rare.
Anyway,
we'll leave it at that. Another story that I just saw. Another story that I saw that actually is via Yeshiva World that aired this morning. Incredible footage. Harav Nebenzal is in a car accident and he continues learning with deployed airbags.
Really?
And let me see if I get the video. I think I'll show the video here if I can get it.
הרב, אתם בסדר? אתם לא רוצים להיבדק אולי?
The article reads, the Rav of the Old City, Hagoyin Harav Avigdor Nebezal, was in a car accident at the remote intersection in Jerusalem at 9:30 a.m. on Wednesday morning when suddenly the driver collided with a car coming from the opposite lane. Reb Nebenzahl's car was hit with great force, causing some of the airbags to deploy, but the Rav continued learning as if nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
The driver got out of the car to exchange details, but the Rav, who was not driving, B'chaz Hashem, who was not injured, he remained in the car and continued to learn. Hatzalah volunteers who rushed to the scene were amazed to see the Rav sitting in the car with an open Gemara, as if nothing bad had happened, despite the serious damage to the car.
Baruch Hashem.
A man who passed by, he videoed the scene, is heard in the video asking if the Rav is okay and if he's sure he doesn't want to be checked out. But the Rav answered in the negative and continued learning.
That's a very nice story. You know,
and the family of the Nebenzahl family told Kikar Shabbat that the Rav was on the way to Bnei Brak. The driver claimed that there was a bus in front of him and blocked his field of vision. Hatzalah volunteer told Kikar Shabbos that it was a very moving sight. And it's a really cool story. It's really nice, and Baruch Hashem, everyone is healthy and okay. That's important.
It's a nice thing, of course.
That's us.
And as you know, I'm here in Yerushalayim this week. I don't know if we got to mention that. So the traffic is, like I said yesterday, I think I mentioned the traffic. It's just unbelievable. What's going on the roadways, especially. We're recording this around. We started around 5:30 p.m. Israel time. And so it's 6 o'clock now here, and just the streets are just not moving. The traffic is just not moving.
Yeah,
you have to literally, if you're a passenger in a car, people just get out and walk the rest of the way. Cab driver told us this morning when we went to the hotel to daven. A cab driver said, "I don't understand people. You could get wherever you're going faster by walking, and it doesn't cost you any money. Instead of sitting in a taxi, it's costing you money, and you're not getting anywhere anyway." But I'm very happy that I went to the hotel this morning. I sent you a video of there was a parallel line to the line going into daven at the wall. There's a group of boys, young boys. You know, it looked like what they like to stereotype or characterize as settler youth. They call them, or they call them hilltop youth because they settled the hilltops in Yehuda and Shomron. But they were getting ready for the gate to be open, so they go up to say Hallel on the Har Bayis, and they were so exuberant, they were so excited, they were jumping in place and singing and ready to go up there. So, you know, even though we don't go up there because our rabbinical authorities have advised against it, still there are a lot of people that do go up there, and it's a very beautiful thing. Number one, let me say that. Number two, it's becoming very quickly now with the new Netanyahu government in place, it's going to become a major international issue because, as you know, Itamar Ben-Gvir is the public security minister, and he goes up there regularly himself to daven.
Yeah.
And the Arabs who are in charge of administering the Temple Mount, what they call the Harim al Sharif, where they have two mosques, they are against Jews davening up there, and it's going to be rioting, and there's going to be problems, and there's going to be police force, and the IDF is going to be up there, and it's going to be condemned by the UN and the Americans. So it's coming to a end, and hopefully it's going to be a prelude to something good.
Like Mashiach, that would be pretty
eventually. Good. Well, it's got to happen some way.
Why eventually? Eventually, why haven't
it's got to happen someday.
The Allgemeine reports that Ukrainian President Zelensky headed to Washington on Wednesday to meet President Biden to address Congress and to seek weapons, and more weapons.
Right.
So President Zelensky is making his trip to the United States, and he's seeking probably more money. He wants more money, more funding for his war efforts.
Well, he's doing very well. Everybody thought last February when Russia invaded Ukraine, it wasn't the right thing to do. It was unprovoked, and it created a needless war, which has cost many, many tens of thousands of people their lives. But everybody thought that Russia is going to be finished Ukraine within a week, and we discovered a lot of things about the resilience and the strength of the Ukrainian military, number one, the ineptness and the incompetence of the Russian military leadership, and lack of motivation from Russian soldiers. So you have to understand.
You better be careful because the KGB is listening.
You have to understand. No, here in Israel, only one's listening. I mean, there was a story today in the in Aretz Sheva that the Iranian hackers are hacked into every security camera in Jerusalem, so they get they get to see what's going on in the street before the Israeli police do. So maybe Ben Gvir should be in touch with them, skip a step. But anyway, I think that it's a there's a lot going on.
Yeah. Listen, I just want to get to, and we'll wrap up this episode, the sports segment of Daily Thread, which is usually at the end of the episodes.
Okay.
The New York Knicks are on an 8-game winning streak.
Oh, really? They won again? They won last night?
They beat the Warriors by 38 points.
What? Last night?
Yeah, obviously Steph Curry was not playing and Andrew Wiggins was not playing, and they were shorthanded, but nonetheless the Knicks showed up, and the Knicks have won 8 games straight.
Wow.
If you are a Knicks fan, that is something to be excited about. But Abba, more notably, and I'm sure you've heard this already, but one of the bigger free agents in the MLB this season was Carlos Correa.
Right.
And he signed, I think, last week with the San Francisco Giants on a big contract.
Okay.
And during the night, in the wee hours of the morning, I think 2 a.m., the story broke that he did not pass his physical. Okay. You know, every player needs to pass a physical exam with a team.
Okay.
He did not pass his physical, and just mere minutes later, Steve Cohen and the New York Mets signed Carlos Correa to a 12-year, $380 million contract.
Where does this guy Correa play?
I think he's an in.
You're not sure? You're not sure where he plays?
Do you know?
I don't know.
He played. He was on the. I don't know. He was on the. Let me get you more info. Okay, Carlos Correa is a shortstop, so I don't know what we're gonna do.
What do you do with Lindor?
No, so we'll put Correa at third base. My bad. I misspoke. The deal is $315 million for 12 years.
What's his name?
And Carlos Correa. You're doing your research?
Yeah, I'm doing my research now, live on the air.
So
actually, this morning I woke up like 7 o'clock, a little bit earlier, and I saw a text from my grandson, your nephew, David Hirsch. Mets signed Korea. I said to myself,
Korea? Korea?
I was thank God there was no war with Korea, but I really didn't know who he was, to tell you the truth.
Listen, Steve Cohen is really breaking the bank for this team.
I don't know if I'm spelling the name right.
His total outlay this offseason is $806 million. The Mets signed Carlos Correa for $315 million, Brandon Nimmo for $162 million, Edwin Diaz for $102 million, Justin Verlander for $86 million, Kodai Senga for $75 million, Jose Quintana for $26 million, Omar Narvaez for $15 million, Adam Ottavino for $14.5 million, David Robertson for $10 million. So that's a lot of money to be spending.
Does that mean that you automatically are going to win the World Series? I mean, that's what it's about.
I think history has shown us that you can't buy a World Series. It doesn't happen like that. But if you're a Met fan, today is a very, very happy day because, I mean, just last week it was impossible to happen. Who fails their physical? We'll find out more about that as the day goes, I'm sure. And one other sports story, I did mention yesterday that I said his name was Matt Ishbia, but it's Matt Ishbia. Ishbia. He's the CEO of United Wholesale Mortgage. He is a Jewish person. And he's buying the Phoenix Suns from another Yid whose last name is Sarver. I mentioned yesterday
it's good that it's happening just before the Shabbos Ishbitz also,
Oh, good one. There you go.
So maybe there's a connection between Ishbia and the Ishbitzer.
You never know, I guess. I don't know if we can find out, but
maybe you're gonna what's it, the Phoenix Suns he bought?
He bought the Phoenix Suns and the WNBA team, the Mercury.
Maybe you're gonna find out by the
Phoenix Mercury.
Maybe you're gonna find out by the end of the week that KMH owns the Phoenix Suns.
Maybe
the Shabbos maybe. I'm just kidding about that. So we did sports.
Yeah, okay.
What about the weather? Are we doing the weather too? How's the weather in New York?
It's cold here. It's nice there. Hanukkah is beautiful. Hanukkah is here. Tonight is the 4th night of Hanukkah.
Right.
And
we are going to be, hopefully it stopped raining. We're going to be going out hopefully in a few moments. And
it's good because yesterday we ended the episode. You had to go you went to sleep. So much so that I called you 5 minutes after we ended the recording because I needed a file from your iPad and you were sleeping.
You know what? And this morning when I woke up I couldn't find my my phone. And I know I fell asleep with my phone next to my head, and it was dark in the room. I couldn't find the phone, and I knew it was in the bed somewhere, but it wasn't. It was on my desk. Now, how did the phone get from my bed to the desk if I was sleeping the whole time?
I guess we'll never know, or maybe you'll find out tomorrow. And by the way, for everyone listening, obviously we have 2 more episodes this week, but actually 1 more episode this week. But Mishpacha magazine has a very cool thing coming out, a supplement of the magazine.
Isn't it out already?
It might be. I don't know when it comes out. It might be out today. But Rabbi Nissen Gordon is featured heavily in this piece about Rabbi Aaron Kotler. And some would say that your father, Zaidi, Rabbi Nissen Gordon, he predicted the boom of Lakewood, of the outgrowth of what it became. And you can read about that by picking up Mishpacha magazine.
I know. I saw a clip of it that someone sent me. I didn't read it in full. I don't know if Mishpacha is available here. I guess it is available somewhere, right? I imagine.
I mean, their offices are there.
Oh yeah, they are here.
Yeah.
I guess. But isn't it just a Hebrew version here, or there's an English version here too?
I don't know. I'm sure they have both.
Okay, so I mean, it's interesting that they did a story about what my father wrote about Lakewood in 1961. As a surprise, could have added a lot of insight into the relationships that he had with Klal Yisroel, going back to the early years, the mid last century. Yeah. There's a lot to be said about that. The doors that he opened, the people that he knew, and he was a young kid, a teenager that came from a Chabad family and a Chabad shtetl in Eretz Yisrael. But he came here, and all these doors opened up for him because, you're talking about a half a century before social media developed, before it burst onto the scene. But because he had people's attention from a newspaper column, that opened up all these doors for him, whether it was in Lakewood or in Chabad or in Young Israel or the Kosher Yisrael of America. Very close with people like Rav Aaron Kotler and Rav Shishera and other leaders, because he had this ability to communicate whatever they were doing that needed public support. He was able to communicate whatever they were working on. And one of those things, apparently, according to what I saw, I didn't read it in full, like I said, one of those things was about the insight that he had after meeting with Rav Aaron Kotler in Lakewood back in 1961.
Yeah, so we'll speak more about that perhaps tomorrow. But for now, thank you so much for listening to Daily Thread. Make sure to subscribe to our WhatsApp status to see more news and stories throughout the day, stuff that aren't happening right now in this half hour that we're speaking to you. And we can't wait to see you tomorrow. Okay. Make sure to leave a rating and a review on this podcast. Adios.